2 weeks, that's how long Jon Jones's retirement lasted. Just when the heavyweight division thought it had a clear path, just when Tom Aspinall was finally the undisputed king, the man many call the G.O.A.T made a shocking U-turn. He's back in the UFC's anti-doping program and the entire MMA world is losing its mind. Is he finally coming for Tom Aspinall? Is he planning something even bigger? We have all the reactions and all the speculation. You're not going to want to miss this. What is up, fight fans, and welcome back to the channel. We have to talk about the bombshell that just dropped on the entire sport. For 13 days, we were living in a world where Jon Jones was officially retired. Dana White confirmed it, Jones put out a statement himself, and Tom Aspinall was promoted to undisputed heavyweight champion. It really seemed like the saga was over. But if we've learned one thing over the years, it's that Jon Jones plays by his own rules. Late last night, Jones went on social media with a simple message that shattered the division. Just re-entered the testing pool that lasted for about 2 weeks, figured we'd keep everyone's options open. The retirement is off, the chaos is back, and the biggest question in all of combat sports is hanging in the air again. What does this mean for a fight with Tom Aspinall? We're going to break down the reactions from fighters, analysts, and fans, so stick around. Alright, let's get into just how wild this situation is. To really get why this is such a shock, you have to remember how abrupt his retirement felt just 2 weeks ago. It killed the dream fight everyone wanted to see, the title unification against Tom Aspinall. Fans were furious, accusing Jones of ducking the biggest threat to his legacy, and a lot of people felt Aspinall was being robbed of his moment. It felt like a messy end to a legendary career. But now it turns out it wasn't the end at all. This U-turn isn't just a random change of heart, the timing is everything. Jones's announcement came almost immediately after President Donald Trump, a huge UFC fan, announced plans for a historic UFC event on the White House lawn in 2026 for America's 250th birthday. A coincidence? The MMA world sure doesn't think so. Jones himself fanned the flames by posting "fighting at the White House" with an eyes emoji right before announcing he was back in the mix. So what does this all mean? Re-entering the testing pool is the first real step a fighter has to take to compete again. It shows clear intent. This isn't just trash talk on X. It's a procedural move that says, I'm getting ready to fight. The entire narrative has flipped overnight from "Is Jon Jones scared of Tom Aspinall?" to "Is Jon Jones about to headline the biggest UFC event in history against Tom Aspinall?" The stakes just got raised to an unbelievable level. Now for the heart of it, the reactions. And of course, the first person everyone wants to hear from is the man at the center of this storm, the heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall. For months, Aspinall has been a total class act. He's been patient, respectful, but firm that he deserves the title unification. When Jones retired, Aspinall finally had his clarity. He was the king. Now the throne is being challenged all over again. While he hasn't put out a long statement, Aspinall's reaction has been exactly what you'd expect. Short, British, and straight to the point. His social media basically says it all without saying much. The fight he's been chasing, the one he was denied, is suddenly back on the table. You can almost feel the mix of frustration and sheer determination. He's made it clear he's ready to get back to work. This is the fight he needs to truly solidify his reign, and it looks like he's ready to go through this whole roller coaster again to get it. Other fighters are already weighing in. Fellow British champ Leon Edwards recently predicted that Jones could come back for the Aspinall fight, and he looks like a genius now. You can bet that guys like Cyril Gane and Curtis Blades are watching this very closely. The whole division was held up by the Jones-Stipe saga, and just when it seemed to be moving on, the logjam is potentially back. But the most interesting reaction will probably come from Jones's old rivals. Can you imagine what's going through Daniel Cormier's head right now? He knows Jones's mind games better than anyone. You can bet that on his show, he's saying this is classic Jon Jones. He couldn't stand another man being called the undisputed champion, and he needs the spotlight. But he'll also warn that this is a dangerous game. Tom Aspinall is not the guy you play with. He has the speed and the power to end this story in a way Jon isn't expecting. The fighters are all reacting from the heart, but the analysts and journalists are trying to figure out the strategy here. You know, someone like Ariel Helwani, one of the most connected guys in the sport, sees this as a pure business move. He's probably saying this was never really about retirement, it was about leverage. Jones saw the White House announcement and knew that was his stage. That's the payday, that's the legacy moment he wants. He let the world think he was gone, let Aspinall have his moment in the sun, and now he's swooping back in to take over the conversation. It's a masterclass in managing a career, but it's also a huge risk. The debate over Jones's legacy has been going for years, and this just pours fuel on that fire. For every fan who sees this as a G.O.A.T move, another sees it as more proof that he manipulates his career to avoid fighters in their prime. The argument that he has expertly avoided guys at their absolute peak is a strong one. He fought an older Stipe Miocic. He left light heavyweight just as a new wave was rising. Many believe that to truly be the greatest, he has to fight and beat a prime Tom Aspinall. There are no more excuses. And then there's Chael Sonnen. You just know Sonnen is having a field day with this. He's probably already uploaded a video titled, "Jon Jones was never retired, I told you so." He'll spin a wild theory that this was the plan all along, a secret deal between Jones and Dana, maybe even the White House. He'll say, "Folks, you gotta understand, Jon Jones doesn't think like you and me, he's playing chess." He created a vacuum just to fill it himself. He made Tom Aspinall the champion just so he could take the belt from him on the biggest stage possible. It's brilliant and it's diabolical. This whole thing is just insane, and the speculation is only getting started. If you're as hyped as I am for a potential Jones vs. Aspinall fight on the White House lawn, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. We'll be covering every single update as this story develops. Alright, so we've seen the reactions. Let's try to put the pieces together. What is really going on here? I think it boils down to a few key things. First, there's the obvious, the money and the spectacle. A UFC event at the White House is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. The pay-per-view numbers would be insane. The mainstream attention would be off the charts. For a fighter like Jones, who is obsessed with his legacy, the chance to headline an event like that is just too much to resist. It's a bigger stage than the Super Bowl for MMA. He wants his name tied to that moment forever. Second, it's about controlling the narrative. Jon Jones can't handle the idea of anyone else being seen as the guy. For 2 weeks, the MMA world was calling Tom Aspinall the new king, the undisputed champ who would bring honor back to the belt. That had to be eating away at Jones. By jumping back into the testing pool, he immediately casts a shadow over Aspinall's title. He becomes the ghost haunting the division, the true king in exile. It pulls the spotlight right back to him, right where he wants it. It's a power play to remind everyone that the division runs through him. But the most critical part is the risk versus reward with Tom Aspinall. Let's be real. Tom Aspinall is arguably the most dangerous opponent of Jones's entire career. He has one-punch knockout power, he's unbelievably fast for a heavyweight, and he's in his prime. A lot of people thought Jones retired just to avoid that fight. So why take it now? Because the reward is finally big enough to justify the risk. Fighting Aspinall in a normal main event is one thing. But fighting him on the White House lawn for a history-making payday with his entire legacy on the line, that changes the math completely. If he wins that fight, he silences every single critic for good. He would have beaten the most dangerous young contender on the biggest stage imaginable. The G.O.A.T debate would be settled in his mind. This is a massive gamble. Jones is betting on himself, betting he can defy age and beat the new breed. He's putting it all on the line for one perfect night, so there it is. The retirement lasted all of 2 weeks, and the Jon Jones era unbelievably isn't over. He's back, he's in the testing pool, and all signs point toward a massive, legacy-defining fight with Tom Aspinall. The MMA community is split. Some are calling it a brilliant move from the greatest ever, while others see it as just the latest chapter in a career of avoiding tough fights until the time is perfect. One thing is for sure. The heavyweight division just became the most interesting place in sports again. Every tweet will be analyzed, and the hype for this potential fight is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. But I have to turn it over to you. What do you think is the real reason for Jones's U-turn? Is he making a calculated move to cement his legacy on the biggest stage? Or is this another game to keep his name in the headlines? And the big one. If the fight happens, who wins, Jon Jones or Tom Aspinall? Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed the breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.